You know, TF2's story is pretty good. The whole humor, characters and just the execution is pure gold. The main chunk of it is about the fights of RED and BLU, who fight over the useless lands. But how useless are the lands really?
Mr. Dispenser!
Hello everyone, Mr. Spencer here. Today we take a look at the OG TF2 maps and take a look how valuable these lands really are. I decided to take the first maps because they are the most canon in the world of TF2. Are these maps worth fighting about? Or should the guns not be loaded because of this rather useless piece of lands? That's what we're gonna look at today. But before we start, I have a Discord. There's a nice community over there. Link to join is down in the description below. Alright, let's look at some maps. The maps we look at are Dust Bowl, Granary, Gravel Pit, Well, Two Fort and Hydro. I will disregard the different game mode types because essentially they are the same map and I will use a point system for them. If they are good in a category, they get 1 point. If they are in the middle, they get 0.5 points, and if they lose the category, they get 0 points. Okay, let's look at the first category, the world type. The first aspect that I wanted to classify the maps in was on what kind of map type they are placed on. Are they in the factory zone? Are they in the middle of the badlands? So in other words, the desert. These things really do decide how worthy a map is. A quick look reveals that maps like Well, Hydro and Granary are obviously high in the ranking as like Dust Bowl, Gravel Pit. Two Fort I would place in the middle because yeah, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but there are these two forts on both sides that push it above the other desert-like maps. That leaves round 1 with 1 point for Well, Hydro and Granary, 0.5 points for Two Fort and 0 points for Dust Bowl and Gravel Pit. The size. Okay, with the themes locked down, as I already said, we have 3 maps in the lead and 2 in the back. Next up, I wanted to ask the question of how big every map is, because in this regard, size does matter, in the value of course. This one took obviously a bit longer. I had to really check how big the maps are, how many stages they have, and so on and so on. Funny enough, this did not change too much in the ranking. Only thing that really changed were the positions of Two Fort, Dust Bowl and with the biggest surprise, Hydro. Dust Bowl might be a desert map, but there are 3 stages on it. And for the many stages that Hydro has, they are in main size pretty small. Granary and Well are both 5 CP maps. That means they are big and stretched out. So yeah, that means round 2 ends with Gravel Pit still at 0 points. Then we have Dust Bowl on 5th place and Two Fort on 4th place with 0.5 points from this round. Then Hydro with 1.5 and in front there is Granary and Well with both 2 points. Alright, let's get to the next category, the map theme. Now we need to actually take a look at what we find on the map. What kind of place do we fight over? How can we make money out of that? This is especially important because this ultimately decides what's the fight about and how valuable it is. You can have the best location for your store. If you sell crap or overprice your stock, you won't sell nothing. So yeah, let's look at the place. With Dust Bowl we have, for the most part, pretty much nothing. We have a shitty warehouse, old mines with nothing in them. All is pretty much so broken down, not really worth anything, except the last stage. We have this rocket that obviously boosts the value of the whole map a lot. A gosh darn rocket base is really good. Your Uncle John don't have that in his backyard, believe me. Only logical way to put this map is at 1 point. Alright, most of the map is barren wasteland, but the rocket is just too strong to not give this map 1 point. With Granary we have a farmland. The big question is if only the granary itself is the price of the fight or also the farmland surrounding it. If it is just a storage, well, it's certainly good, but looking at the retail prices of cereal and bakery products from the 1950s and 60s, we see a clear downgrade of the price, which leaves this map at only 0.5 points. Gravel Pit, oh Gravel Pit, what to do with you? I guess the last tower with the big satellite is something good, but this is just a dent where the gravel is stored. Like gravel does not power the world. It's just kinda useless. I kinda hate to do this again to Gravel Pit, but again 0 points. Next up, Well. This train yard of a map is pretty good, not gonna lie to you, my friend. There are trains, there's a factory, there's a rocket engine, good looking bases, water, sewage, everything is up to Apoyo's standards. This is what a very strong map looks like. 1 point. Twofold is an international base, as far as I'm aware. I mean, look at the big freaking base down there. That looks like a rocket control center. Maybe it's the base for launching all those nukes that you can find on different maps. This base is important. And then there's also the intelligence. Nobody knows what's in there. Maybe they're launch codes. Maybe there's a face reveal of Mr. Spencer in there. Who knows? But you know what I know? That this map gets 1 point. And at last, Hydro. Hydro is a big water power plant. That's a power move if I ever seen one. You can always sell energy. It will always be important. So yeah, nothing more to say than 1 point. Coming to the last round, Well is in front. I did not expect that at all. On to the last category, the details. With the details, I really want to see what's on the map. Is there technology, are there hidden bases or other content that could elevate the map in the last stretch? If I already counted it before though, I won't count it here twice. Once mentioned, once pointed. Alright, let's do this. We start with the last place this far. Gravel Pit. I hate to break it to you Gravel Pit fans again, but this map has barely anything on there. Like, if I'm generous. There's really no technology except this little base in Red Spawn. Maybe they monitor the general area or something, but for the powerful beacon it's kinda really small. There is this train, which I guess is again kinda okay, but I simply cannot ignore the piles and piles of useless gravel. So in the end, I give it a generous 0.5 points. Dust Bowl is doing better than I thought. It's not last, so yeah, better than I thought. Cool. Dust Bowl keeps surprising. There are these 3 different bases, or at least rooms of a bigger base. These are filled with computers and areas to brief the team of the secret base. There's also this outpost house that can kind of serve as a place to observe and spy the area. And then there's this train too. And my biggest surprise, there are weapon rockets on this map too. This bumps the whole map up so much, like holy moly. The only downside from the map stems from the abandoned coal mine and the useless coal storage. But if you have a secret base and weapons of mass destructions, nothing better to say than 1 point. Twofold's next, and as I said in the intro in this section, I will only mention the stuff once, then I'm done. And there isn't really too much on Twofold for the matter than this big base. There are some more file storage rooms and conference rooms, but other than that, nothing really is here. So all in all, Twofold gets a 0 here. Granary is interesting again. Right off the bat we see what Granary is really about. It's a launch site for rockets. This is truly insane. Hidden but dangerous. Also blue side has a whole docking station for a boat, but the red side got the Rick May statue. So rather be on blue side to win and get this amazing tribute. Only logical point to give is 1 point. With Hydro I'm kinda torn in between. There are these sweet hidden bases like the one on blue side that's under a car repair station, and some nice base designs with obvious big operation tools. But you know, it's kinda not too much, kinda like Twofold. The power plant I already counted. The base is new though, so 0.5 points. And then we have Well. This was really hard for me to say in the end, because if I could break my own rules, I would give this map 0.75 points. There's really a bit too little to give it 100% 1 point, and there's a bit too much to give it 0.5. So it's hard. In the end I decide to give it 1 point because there is this rocket base. So there are office rooms and top secret areas too. And fair enough, there is an industry and distillery too. So yeah, besides that though, there is nothing really too exciting then. But I will, as I said, give it 1 point. I think it's only fair. Well, that's it. I will stop with the well puns now. A lot of surprises and a lot of things I saw coming in the end. Gravel Pit is not, I repeat, not worth fighting over at all. It only got 0.5 points, and even then I was generous. The big surprises are Hydro, Granary and Well. Hydro I expected to be higher. It's a power plant. Granary I did not see in the top 3 at all. And Well was a map I completely overlooked for so long. But it's actually the most worthy map to fight over. From the map size, the theme, to the usage and the details. Everything works for Well. It's aced the rankings of worthiness. So yeah, congrats to CP Well. That marks the end of the video. What did you expect from the maps? Do you want me to rank more maps like this? And have you already subscribed? Thank you so much for watching the video and hope you have a wonderful day. Mr. Spencer out. Oh, and one more thing, Zeke Notag, the Mad Lad, subscribed with the Tier 3 membership. So here is his official first shoutout. Zeke Notag, thank you so much for the membership. Alright, that's all. Hope you have a wonderful day, guys.